Hello, hello. How is everybody doing today? I'm going to be talking about some ZAG items, some pickups. This is going to be a pickup video, guys. Haven't done one of these in a while, but some different things. Stay tuned to the end. Some unique pieces that I want to share with you guys. Stick around. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. How is everybody doing? We are cruising through the week. It is almost the weekend. I'm ready for it. The Saints tackle the Falcons this week, coming off of a big win against Tom Brady's Bucks. And we will see. We'll see how these New Orleans Saints can finish out the year without their starting quarterback, their number one wideout in Michael Thomas. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we got to believe. We're believers as Saints fans. You got to have faith. All right, guys, today I'm going to show you some pickups that I've had over the last couple of weeks. Some of these are a little bit different than maybe what you might see on some other channels. There's some unique kind of zags here that I think are just kind of fun. So I wanted to share those with you. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. If you like what you see or hear, the like button and a tappity tap on the notification bell so that you are notified every time a new video comes out. And we are frequent. We are frequent with our videos, so we will keep them coming and we will get started. All right, first off, a lot of talk about F1 this and F1 that. And what I mean is F1 racing and kind of all the cards, that people are buying, the newer stuff, the Lewis Hamiltons of the world. But I have a question. Why focus on Lewis Hamilton when you've got Mario Andretti out there, friends? Mario Andretti is arguably the greatest F1 driver of all time. He's up there. If he's not number one, he's certainly up there when we talk about goats of their sport. Mario Andretti is, when it comes to F1, he's the man. He is up there. And so I thought this was a really unique looking set. This is the 79, let me make sure I say this right, Venerlandis Limited, Our Heroes World of Sport. And these are kind of little art cards. Our Heroes of Sport, flick cards. And it's from 1979. I think they're British, actually, because it does say London here on the back. But this set is cool. Check out the set in general. There's a Pele card. There's Muhammad Ali. Just Heroes of Sports. There's a lot of cool cards there. So this is kind of more the vintage F1, if you will, and not breaking the bank for a PSA 10. And then also, or PSA 9, and they have a lot of different, like I said, a lot of different kind of heroes of sport. But pop report's very low on these. There's not a ton of these that have been graded. Maybe they're out there in the wild raw, but the PSA 10s for a lot of these, some of them are expensive, but some of them are not. And then you also have PSA 9s and 8s. So I thought that this was kind of a cool pickup. And like I said, if you're someone that likes kind of the art of the card, then great. It might not be for you, but I thought that was interesting. And with all the F1 talk and the Lewis Hamiltons and blah, 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 why not get like the greatest? Speaking of the all-time greats, we're going to veer off a little bit from sports and we are going to presidents, friends. This one is from 1911. This is a T68 Heroes of History. One thing I really like about this card, and I'll show a couple of cards like this, is there's kind of a bio on the back. It talks about Abraham Lincoln in this particular case. And again, not a lot of graded copies of these. And so I wanted to pick up, these came in cigar packs. There's a lot of cigarette cards, kind of like the T206, the Honus Wagner. This is along the same lines, early, 1900s. Just really kind of cool cards. And again, like for something to be over 100 years old, 110 years old and get a PSA 4, I feel like, pretty cool. And the coloring is still good. And again, for me, I'm looking at some presidential stuff and I'm just going with the legends. I'm going with the legends of presidents, and Abe Lincoln. Honest Abe is one of those guys. So I was pretty happy to pick this up. It's not that these cards are extremely rare in the sense that there's more sets. And so, there's this set. There's many, many sets that have presidential cards. But if you look at graded copies and you look at kind of availability of them out there, there's not loads and loads of these. There's not boatloads of them. They're still fairly scarce to some degree. They may have been produced in mass back then, but they're certainly, in comparison to today's print it runs. Also think about population. The population of the United States, in 1911, a little different than 2021. So if you're printing product, it's not as if there probably wasn't tens of millions of these made. I could be wrong, but anyway, just kind of a fun zag. And along those same lines, I picked up, and I believe that these are English. Yeah, these are English cigar cards, and these are Player and Sons from 1925, PSA 5 and a PSA 6. It's George Washington, and again, it's got kind of a cool little write-up on George Washington. It's a little history lesson on the back of it. First in war, first in peace, and first in the hearts of his countrymen. Born in Virginia. And a lot of these guys have kind of, cool stories really to kind of their upbringing and all the things that they went through, whether it be Abe Lincoln or George Washington. It really brings perspective when you think about man, we're going through tough times now. Read about some of these historical figures and it's maybe it's not so bad after all. It's cool. So anyway, I was looking at some of these kind of these cigarette cards, just along those same lines as like the T206 and some of those older sets, but for presidential cards. And of course, the goats of presidents, the greatest presidents, in my opinion. Obviously, everyone's got their own opinions on that, but Washington and Lincoln are a big deal in American history. So those cards from the early 1900s. And so I was looking around when did these cards start? When did they really start making these cards? And I read that it was the 1880s. The 1880s is really when you saw the first presidential cards. And I was able to find a couple of cards, and I bought these raw online. So of course, you never know what you're going to get. I am going to send these in for grading just to see, are they real? Are they reprints? Are they, they're a little banged up to where I feel like they could be legit, but they were not expensive. And this is an Abe Lincoln from the 1880s. At least it was being sold as a card from the 1880s. I am going to send this in to either PSA, SGC, we'll see, to get graded. I'm in no hurry to get them back. So I just want to know, are they authentic? Are they trimmed? Are they, whatever? I wouldn't say they look really trimmed. They have rounded corners. So I've got John Adams and Abe Lincoln. And like I said, these weren't expensive cards, and supposedly they're from the 1800s, the late 1800s. I just thought it was interesting, so pick those up. I want to grade them out and just kind of hold on to them and see what happens. All right, we're going to shift over to another kind of a fun hobby within my hobby that I've been collecting here recently over the last, 3 or 4 months, graded video games. And we're going to talk about Contra. If you are my age or around my age, you remember this game. This is for the original NES. This is WATA graded CIB 7.5. So that means complete in box. So it's not a sealed game. This is a used game, but it's got the original cartridge, manual, and box, and it's in pretty good shape to be a 7.5. And this is just one of those classic games. For me, this is like nostalgia, just so much nostalgia. So I thought that was really cool. Again, I was able to get this at a good price. I'm really patient with these to where they're expensive if you're looking, but I look for those deals and I strike kind of when I do see something. So this didn't break the bank at all. But it was just one of those cool games that I had to have. And I just love a lot of the old box art from those original Nintendo games. It brings me back to that time in my life as a kid where I didn't have near as many responsibilities, and I was just playing video games with my buddies. All right. And last but not least, we're doing the full cycle, guys. Graded comic books. This is Detective Comics number 332, and there's nothing crazy about this book. This is not a first appearance of a character. It is kind of a Silver Age appearance of the Joker, and I just like the cover for it. It's in a fairly high grade and a 7.0. There was another one I was looking at that was an 8.5 that I wanted to get. I just couldn't make a deal on it. But I really like kind of those Silver Age. I'm looking at DC because I also really like the Marvel stuff. But the Marvel stuff is very, very expensive for obvious reasons. You've got the movies and everything else that are doing well. And I'm looking at kind of the Golden Age, Silver Age, Batman, Superman stuff, and kind of some of those villains, whether it be, the Riddler is going to be in the new Batman movie that's coming out. And that new Batman movie looks really cool. Let me know what you think in the comments about that new Batman movie, because I actually, Warner Brothers has not been doing themselves any favors recently, I don't feel like, with their DC stuff. But with this last Joker movie and then with this new Batman movie, I feel like they're moving in the right direction with some of these. They look great. And so, I've been looking at kind of, some of that older Riddler stuff, that old Joker stuff. And just, there's a lot of Golden Age DC comic books that are graded, that are not crazy expensive, at least compared to some of the other stuff. So I've been just eyeballing a lot of different things, guys, but I wanted to show you just, I've got a wide range of collectibles that I dabble in. As if you know my channel, then you know that already, but wanted to share some of the pickups that I've been excited about. I've been spreading it out a little bit over the last few weeks. So guys, let me know what you've been picking up in the comments. I want to know, are you doing sports cards, comic books, video games? What are you into? And if so, what are you getting? Like, are you into basketball cards, baseball, football, soccer? Let me know what you're doing. I want to hear about it. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.